Good morning. Ano po ang order nila? Half rice, fried rice, bandehado rice? Today, that will be our conversation, the proposed idea of a restaurant serving only half rice or a choice of half rice. But the question is this something that is intended to address our over focus on rice, our rice shortage, inflation, or is it going to be an issue of nutrition? Well, we'll discuss all of that and more concerning rice, especially with the news that came out that there was a spike in the farm gate prices of rice. May nagsabi lang na half rice, biglang tumaas na ang presyo ng rice. Okay, we will discuss that today. But first of all, good morning to all of you. Welcome to your program agenda. I'm your host, Cito Beltran. Today is November 14, 2023. It's a Tuesday. And from the looks of it, it's going to be partly cloudy. Please be careful because if that typhoon east of Mindanao actually hits land, well, we're going to be in for probably a rainy week or weekend. Anyway, let's pray for the best and let's hope that everything goes well. Thank you to all of you who are Cignal TV subscribers, as well as those of you who watch us via Facebook. Maraming salamat po sa nanonood on One News, channels 8 and 250. Of course, thank you to PLDT Home Fiber Optic Internet. Now, today, let's go to our daily starter. And this week, there is a special emphasis on giving, on generosity, because I would like to inform all of you, it's one of my personal secrets. When you give, when you share, it all comes back to you. Now, here is from Billy Graham. We are not cisterns. Hindi po tayo mga balon, imbakan ng tubig. We are not cisterns made for hoarding. We are channels made for giving. Some of you may be wondering, bakit ganon? I work so hard and I try to save, but always kinakapos ako, especially today. It's the 14th of November, so tomorrow, sweldo for some of you, it's a payday, and it might be a good idea to reflect on whether you share your blessings with others, because the more you share, the more you give. And I know that from personal experience. So from Billy Graham, we are not cisterns made for hoarding. We are channels made for giving. And with that, let's now shift to the front page of the Philippine Star. At least may konting good news for some people. And the headline is, De Lima freed on bail. Former Justice Secretary and Senator Laila De Lima is finally out of jail after a Muntinlupa court yesterday granted her petition to post bail for her third and last drug case. Yan po, almost 7 years in jail, and finally she had the chance to walk out and stay home for the duration of her hearings. And that is a judgment and a condemnation of our political and judicial system. Anong justice ang pinagsasabi ninyo? Meanwhile, ex-ICTSI, former Aboitiz executive named Maharlika President. Iba na ang contributor sa presidential election. They get to send their best people to become officials of the administration. Okay, sorry, I just couldn't help but notice that the new Maharlika president is Maharlika Fund president is a former Aboitiz executive named Rafael Consing Jr. I wish you luck, and I do hope you manage to stay under the radar and not be dragged by controversy or conflict. BBM, to meet with U.S. Vice President and not Biden. The White House is seeking a meeting between President Marcos and United States Vice President Kamala Harris during this week's APEC or Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit in San Francisco, California, according to the Philippines envoy to the US. Hindi naman daw si Biden ang hinahanap ni BBM na makausap sa APEC kung hindi si VP Kamala Harris. Okay. Meanwhile, Speaker's social media account hacked. The social media account of Speaker Martin Romualdez, including his official account in the House of Representatives, have been hacked by still unidentified persons. We are taking this matter very seriously. Grabe, no? Lahat najajaryo. Okay, Philippines to sustain non-military approach in ayungin missions. The Philippine government would continue with its non-military approach to resupply missions for troops on a grounded military ship on Ayungin Shoal an official of the Philippine Coast Guard said yesterday. Medyo iwas gulo muna ang Pilipinas. And speaking of gulo, LPA outside PAR develops into typhoon. The low-pressure area outside the Philippine area of responsibility has developed into a tropical depression and may enter the country on Wednesday, which is tomorrow, according to Pag-asa. Okay, so there you go. And as I mentioned yesterday, please be careful because when typhoons hit the Philippines during November, that is when they are the worst, okay? At least from my personal experience, that was the case in Yolanda, and we do hope that the same thing does not happen again. Malayo pa naman yung tropical depression, 1,540 kilometers east of southeastern Mindanao. Okay. Then a photo at the bottom, 12th OFW and Family Summit 2023. Masaganang kabuhayan para sa OFWs and families. Yun po ang photo of the Villar family with Senator Cynthia Villar and Mark Villar cutting the ribbon along with, I believe that is Camille. Well, anyway, the prints are so small, it's kind of hard to, Camille Villar, okay. Deputy Speaker Camille Villar. Meanwhile, the best news of the day, hefty fuel price cuts. Ang laki po ng binawas ng crudo at gasolina. And everyone is happy, but the transport groups are opposing any reduction in pamasahe. Okay? Yan ang nga yung sabi nila. If you allow prices to go up, it takes heaven and hell to push them back to their previous state. Okay, that about wraps up our news review of the front page of the Philippine Star. Please do get a physical copy, or if not, get the online, the digital version via your tablets, your iPads, or your computer, and do read our articles, especially Cito, my column, which is on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We'll go for a quick break. When we come back, usapang kanin, usapang bigas, and we will find out. Yung kanin ba, does rice, eating a lot of rice, really contribute to the spare tire around your waist? Is it really a contributing factor to the development of diabetes? And why is the PhilRice suggesting the half cup? We'll be right back here on Agenda.
Can't finish the rice you ordered? Two lawmakers recently filed bills seeking to mandate restaurants to offer half-cup rice options to their customers. This is after the Philippine Rice Research Institute reported that 384,000 metric tons of rice worth 7.2 billion pesos were being wasted annually. PhilRice noted that this amount could feed 2.5 million hungry Filipinos. Iloilo Representative and former Health Secretary Janet Garin said, the half-cup rice bills are not only good for minimizing food waste, it also promotes balanced eating habits. But with or without the bill, some local governments like in Naga, Iloilo, and Baguio are already offering half-cup rice options in adherence to their ordinances. Should it be taken to the national level? Let's further discuss this matter on today's agenda.
Hazel Antonio-Beltran is the Development Communication Head of Philippine Rice Research Institute, or PhilRice. PhilRice, a government corporate entity under the Department of Agriculture, aims to develop technology to produce enough rice in the country. Antonio-Beltran is also the head of the agency's Be Responsible campaign, which pushes farmers, policymakers, and the public to do their part in achieving rice self-sufficiency.
Good morning, Dr. Hazel. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, sir. Good morning po sa lahat ng nanonood sa atin ngayon.
Okay, just to make it clear, ladies and gentlemen, I referred to Hazel as Dr. Hazel because she has a PhD, and that is the proper term to address people who have a PhD. Now, Dr. Hazel, may I ask you to clarify, kanino bang idea? Whose idea was it to push for this half cup? Because in some news articles that I read, it was attributed to PhilRice, that it was PhilRice who suggested that restaurants offer half cups.
Actually po, it is really PhilRice na nagpo-push po talaga nitong half cup. And it started in 2013 when we had the National Year of Rice po. Kasi back then, we wanted to really achieve rice self-sufficiency, so we were trying to lower po namin yung wastage, lower namin yung mga nasasayang natin para makabawas po dun sa projection ng consumption. Tapos, in-improve din po natin sana yung consumption ng rice para po kapag kain din yung mga Pilipino ng healthier options like brown rice and rice mixed with other staples para po yung demand natin sa white rice mabawasan din. So, it is really us who's pushing for responsible rice consumption. So, under po siya talaga sa isang programa na ang goal talaga natin ay makatulong sa self-sufficiency, makatulong sa ating mga magsasaka, and makatulong sa health ng ating mga consumers.
Okay, now, what is the situation? Kasi I know that in Europe, there are many countries like France that is already implementing strict rules against food wastage, because I think more than 30% of food served in restaurants are actually thrown into garbage bins, not even fed to dogs, because doon bawal magpakain ng kaning baboy or askal. Anyway, in the Philippines, what is the situation? How much rice is actually wasted in restaurants, in homes? Meron ba kayong studies or at least data na nagagather formally or informally?
Ang data po na ginagamit ng PhilRice ay galing po sa DOST-FNRI or Food and Nutrition Research Institute. So yung pong data nila, noong 2015, we wasted 10 grams per person per day. So when we computed it po, it's around 385,000 metric tons. And it's valued that year compared po dun sa landed cost.
Doc Hazel, pakibagalan lang ng konti, pakiulit nga yun, 10 grams. Bali kasi yung mga pangsabong namin, ang pinapakain namin sa umaga, 35 grams. So halos maliit na tasa yun. So a third of that. So in 1 month, nakakailang sakong bigas? How long does it take for one Filipino to waste 1 sack of rice? Kasi 50 kilos yung sako, hindi ba?
Yes po, 50 kilograms divided by
by 10, by 0.10. Okay. Medyo so more than mga every 3 months siguro, no, every 3 months or baka more.
1.5 po siguro.
Okay, so
pero anyway, so yung pong 385,000 metric tons, yun po yung nasasayang ng lahat ng Pilipino sa isang taon. So
385,000 metric tons. Kasi gusto ko sanang gawing per sako para maintindihan ng Pilipino.
Ang isang sako po kasi, ang isang tonelada po kasi ng bigas ay 50 sacks po kasi. So 100 times 5 ay 20. 200.
Okay.
200 po, 200. 200 sacks po, isang tonelada.
Yung tinatapo natin, 385 metric tons.
Yes po.
Okay, so medyo overwhelming, no? Because this is the sort of illustration Filipinos need to understand, because ang thinking nila, hindi naman tayo nagsasayang, or ano bang pakialam nyo, binabayaran naman namin yung kanin, etc. But this is just in restaurants, or is this the general population pati sa bahay?
general population na po ito kasama sa bahay. Kasi actually po, ang ginagather po ng data ng Food and Nutrition Research Institute ay household wastage. So actually po yung household wastage ay nasa 46 point something. Tapos i-divide lang po nila sa population ng household para makuha nila yung per person. Tapos ita-times po siya, ina-observe po nila siya for a couple of days, tapos siya po nila i-multiply per year. So doon lang din po kami kumuha ng data. And yung po 385,000 metric tons, nung pong i-multiply natin siya dun sa presyo ng bigas, nung taon na yon, ang value po niya 7.2 billion. At kaya niya pong magpakain ng 2.5 million Filipinos sa isang buong taon. So, ganun po kadami siya kasi kayang kumain ng 2.5 Filipinos ng libre ng isang taon kung po gagamitin natin yung volume niyo.
Ay, yung 2.5 billion na yun, yun yung lagi nilang sinasabing pumapasok sa poverty line. So, if hindi sinasayang yung kanin, makakakain na yun.
Sana po, pwede po natin i-donate sa kanila yung volume na sana na sinayang lang naman po natin. No? Kasi instead na sinayang natin, sana itinabi na lang natin, tapos pinamigay na lang natin sa iba.
Okay, so malinaw, no? We're wasting 385,000 metric tons of rice, equivalent to 7.2 billion pesos annually, and it could feed how many? 2.5
million Filipinos.
2.5 million Pinoys. Okay, now, let's talk in terms of rice production because we're always short on rice and they say we need to import rice to make up for the shortage. Magkano ba yung annual shortage ng bigas na ini-import relative to the wastage?
Wala po kasi yung wastage natin this year. So, ang meron po kaming data ng wastage ay 2015. Kaya po yung in-import nating bigas that year, yun po yung kinumpera natin. So, and that year po, 12.2% po siya nung in-import natin na bigas.
12.2% of imported rice is equivalent to the amount wasted.
Yes po.
Okay, but that is 2016. Bakit po napakaluma na ng data? Because that is already 7 years old.
Kasi po hindi po kasi kami yung may control ng data ng wastage. So kinukuha lang din po namin siya talaga sa DOST-FNRI. So sila po yung nagkakandak ng research. Before po, we tried to partner with them para po sana, ayun nga, makuha din namin yung data na kailangan namin. Pero medyo mahirap po kasi daw yung pag-modify ng process. So humihingi na lang po kami sa kanila ng data. Pero regular naman po yung ginagawa nila. Actually, meron naman po yatang recent kaming nakita, yung 2018. Pero very, very close po yung data.
Okay, so what about the Bureau of Statistics? So walang available data kasi hindi na nag-ooperate yung Bureau of Agriculture Statistics?
Yung pong data na kinukuha lang din nila sa FNRI. So parang centralized na po kasi siya. Kasi mahirap pong kuhanin yung wastage. Parang kailangan po nilang magstay doon, kuhanin siya isa-isa every day. So medyo tedious po yung process. Kaya mahirap po siyang i-replicate.
Yeah, but if it's worth 7.2 billion, I think the government can very well invest on researchers to have an accurate data, especially since pinapakialaman na natin yung consumption. We are, by suggesting the unli versus the half cup conversation, we are actually mending in personal choices. But what is the position of the PhilRice regarding all of this? Because you're suggesting half rice. Is this selective, elective, or should it be mandatory? Because when I was thinking about it over breakfast, ang napansin ko lang kasi, iba-iba yung sukat eh. Parang kape yan eh. Di ba? Yung iba nagsasabi, I only drink 1 cup of coffee. Pero yung cup nila, equivalent sa isang tabo na pampaligo. Okay, so pag pumunta ka sa restaurant, maski ako nalulula ko minsan eh. Pag pumunta ka sa fast food, yung rice nila half cup eh. Pero dun sa mga non-fast food o slow cook restaurants, ang lalaki naman ang serving ng rice. How do you propose to have all of this uniform?
Actually po, yung mga local ordinance, meron pong nakasulat na gramo. So, medyo dun po kami nagtagal nung pinropose namin yung mga local ordinance. Sinabi namin na dapat ganito kadami yung 1 cup and ganito kadami yung half cup. Kalahati, exactly half. Pero yun po, medyo napakialaman yung business strategy nila. So, dun po sila medyo umalma. So, ang naging solution po namin...
Bakit umalma, Doc Hazel? Because you would imagine the restaurant owners would love it. Sorry, boss. The law says we should only serve half cup. Kung gusto mo ng extra, bayad ka. What is the argument of the business people regarding this?
Ay, i-clarify ko lang, yung pag-alma po nila ay dun sa yung size po ng cup. Ay, control sila dun sa size. Yung kung gaano kadami dapat yung 1 cup. So, yun po, nilet go namin yung grams. So, ang sinabi na lang po namin, yung 1 cup, exactly half nun, dapat sana ma-serve nila kung i-request ng customer. And dapat po, exactly half them yung price.
Wala ba ang DOST ng uniform cups? Kasi I understand the situation and you're very correct. The PhilRice is correct by following the gram standards because I do training talks for BMEG and sa amin science talaga lahat. Yung pagpakain sa alaga, we do grams so that you can measure what is the food conversion ratio. If you feed X number of grams, then what is the proportionate gain in weight. So, malaking bagay yon. So, hindi ba pwedeng i-insiste na o ipilit ng PhilRice na, hello, dapat scientific tayo, hindi yung porque ayaw nyo lang masunod na yung mga private sector.
Ayun po, yun yung naging issue po nila kasi daw po yung iba, kasi di po ba local ordinance yung una naming tinalakay eh. So, yung mga iba, yung mga fast food chains, sabihin nila, regular kami, standard. So, hindi namin pwedeng baguhin dito sa probinsya na to, pero sa iba ganito. So, doon ng problema. Kaya
kasi yung fast foods, because they're international or national chains, they have size and measures established already. But actually, it's the fast foods that have the correct or the logical measurements, di po ba?
Hindi na po siguro yung 1 cup. Pero standard po. At saka may timbang yung sa kanila.
Okay.
Yung iba po kasi medyo maliit na sa half. Yun din po yung sinabi namin.
Okay, I think we lost the connection with Dr. Hazel Beltran there. Kapangalan lang po. Hindi ko alam kung sinong Beltran na pangasawa niya. Pero parang baka tiga-Pangasinan niya mga napangasawa ni Doc Hazel. But that's the argument right now, ladies and gentlemen, because many countries all over the world, hindi lang po yan sa Pilipinas, are already complaining. In light of the difficulty of production, the challenges brought by climate change, etc., mobility, etc., many governments around the world are already observing and regulating food wastage. Hindi naman food consumption. Kasi, nako po, sa France, makikita ninyo talagang tonelada ng pagkain tinatapon dahil nga nasasayang, hindi kinakain, sobra, etc. So that is the issue that we are addressing here. Is this proposal of PhilRice for half cup serving in restaurants, is it correct? Is it actually being adopted? We'll go for a break. We'll be right back here on Agenda.
rice prices continue to be a problem for many Filipino consumers and even farmers groups. According to the Samahang Industriya ng Agrikultura, the farm gate price of palay reached 31 pesos per kilo as cost of well-milled rice reached 54 pesos per kilo. Sinag Chief Rosendo So said that a 50-kilo sack of rice delivered to Metro Manila now ranges between 2,400 and 2,500 pesos. He added that the retail price of well-milled rice ranged from 54 to 55 pesos per kilo. Adding to the woes of farmers is that the main harvest season for rice is reportedly 85% complete, according to Sinag. So said that the harvest season is expected to be completed next month and the stocks could last until February of next year. With this in mind, Sinag has pushed for the return of the price ceiling amid the upward trend in prices. Is it really time for the Philippines to be less dependent on rice? What could that mean for the nutrition of Filipinos? Let's discuss that on today's agenda.
Registered nutritionist-dietitian Beatrix Mercado is the founder of Project Fit PH, a startup company that focuses on improving the health and wellness of Filipinos. She graduated from the University of Santo Tomas, where she was a full scholar. Mercado also has a master's degree in food science.
Okay, welcome back, welcome, ladies. Welcome, Bea, to the program. And of course, rejoining us is Dr. Hazel Antonio-Beltran to discuss this proposal of PhilRice for restaurants to offer half cup only. Okay, now, Bea, you're the nutritionist in the room. What are your thoughts, or what do you know will be the impact if Filipinos continue to consume isang tabo ng kanin, or what would be the result if they actually follow the suggestion of PhilRice na half cup only?
All right, so I'll answer the first question. So yun po, isang tabo or too much consumption can eventually lead to diabetes and more than that, obesity. So kasi po, the concern with the too much consumption is that it is carried on to the family and even for a very long time, kahit lifetime, nagiging habit siya. So it becomes a habit, then eventually leading to obesity for always depending on rice. And then for the second question, I'm honestly for it because it helps the person control firsthand yung portion when it comes to consumption. It helps them limit their food consumption so that in the long run, it could also help them prevent diabetes and even prevent obesity. So it's all about portion control.
Yeah, Bea, how long? Kasi many Filipinos, nako, Cito, wag mo na kaming parusahan. Ang hirap na nang tumira sa Pilipinas, gugutumin mo pa kami. And some people will say, Sir, yun na lang nga ang nakakain ko, konti na lang ang ulam ko, aalisin mo pa. How long does it take for a person to adjust from eating one tabo of rice at lunch to half a cup? Because I did it. I used to really devour rice, but now I'm only eating brown or black rice, and I only eat 1 cup at the most, on the average maybe 3/4 cups. Pero gaano katagal ang transition, Bea?
Okay, it's client-to-client basis. It depends on first, how long have you been eating too much rice? And second, also, if you're always hungry, and also depending on your physical activity. But sometimes it could take at least 2 weeks, depende sa tao, depende sa commitment, and depende talaga sa drive. But sometimes it could take them 2 months to 6 months even, and sometimes it's on and off. Sometimes they could do it na half rice agad, and eventually magiging tabo ulit, tas half rice ulit. So it's really client-to-client basis.
Okay, now you mentioned diabetes and obesity. You know, some people have been trying to debunk that idea or say, hindi, fake news yan. You're a certified nutritionist. Your company and your business is all about nutrition. Now, the connection with diabetes, because yesterday we guested the Nephrology Society, And we discussed na sobrang daming Pilipino ang nagkaka-diabetes, and so many of them end up having dialysis for kidney failure. Now, what have you observed in your clinics in the connection between rice and diabetes?
Okay, it's the consumption of too much rice. So ideally, 1 cup should have been enough, but then the problem is that it's not enough for them. So they try to consume 2 cups, 3 cups, and more than the rice. Hindi lang yun yung nagiging culprit. It's also the other foods that they're consuming as well. So sugary food, sugary drinks should also be accounted for, plus physical activity and their lifestyle. But definitely, rice is a huge contributor simply because of too much consumption.
Okay, now let's go first to Doc Hazel. Doc Hazel, the PhilRice has been pushing for this thing, sabi mo, since 2016?
2013 po.
2013. Now, has it been adopted? How many percent of the general population, or meron bang mga regions, LGUs na you can cite who have adopted this less rice campaign?
Meron po tayong 46 local ordinances, including Manila, Quezon City, Davao, Cebu, Baguio, Jensan, Nueva Ecija. Ang dami po talaga nung 46 na yun. And sila po, nag-adapt sila kasi ayun nga, gusto po nilang bigyan ng additional option ng mga consumers natin. So, ino-offer po nila of course yung 1 cup, pero ino-offer din nila yung half cup. So, depende po din sa freedom, depende din sa option na gusto talaga ng mga consumers natin. Pero supportive naman po sila kasi they also want to lessen the wastage, and in a way, promote din po yung healthier consumption para dun talaga sa mga ayaw kumain ng maraming rice.
Okay, ayaw kumain ng maraming rice. Now, Bea, what about alternatives? Kasi ako, when I feel ay medyo bitin yata, I won't eat more rice. Because I have limited serving on the table, dahil dalawa lang naman kami sa bahay, I would get a banana. Now, Congressman Garin, former DOH Secretary, is suggesting, kain kayo ng kamote, kumain kayo ng mais, yellow corn. Masarap din yung yellow corn, although in some places expensive. Pero, naku po, magtanim lang kayo sa drum, meron na kayong mais eh. What is your view on this alternatives to rice?
Yes, it's also a good option. And rice alternatives are also beneficial kasi some studies shows that they're also high in fiber as well. Like sweet potatoes, corn, and so they could be a good alternative option. Some even opt for bread, but of course, I'd go for corn instead.
Yeah, Bea, can you please explain this fiber thing? Because I've been watching so many documentaries. I don't know if you've watched Live to 100, The Blue Zones. And they talk about kamote in Okinawa. People in Okinawa consume so much kamote. And all the documentary always talk about high fiber. Ano bang importance, or what is the thing about this high fiber?
All right, so sorry. High fiber is actually very good for the heart, and it's also it's beneficial for the heart. It helps prevent hypertension as well, and it's commonly found in complex carbohydrates such as sweet potatoes, corn. So they're found there. They're beneficial kasi simply because yung fiber, it helps bind fat sa katawan, and once they're bound together, they're eventually excreted sa katawan, hence preventing hypertension.
Okay, so
it's also good for weight loss.
Good for what, Bea?
It's also good for weight loss as well kasi it helps you feel fuller eh.
Okay, so ayun, naku po. Ang dami kasi iniisip lagi pag kumain kang kamote, musical potato daw. Pero anyway, we'll go for
Something
this.
lang po.
Yeah, Hazel.
Ayan, sorry. Kasi po, part din po ng Be Responsible campaign, apart from the wastage, ay yung promotion itong other carbohydrates na na-mention ninyo. So, dahil alam po natin na matagal yung shift from rice to, syempre, plain or pure kamote or pure corn, we're trying to ask them na mag-mix. So, pinapamix po muna natin. Before, di po ba, uso yung rice na hinaluan ng corn grits. So, we're trying to revive that and to mix it with other staples like adlay as well or kamote. Kasi ayun nga po, gaya ng mention ni Ms. Dea, meron po talagang mga other nutrients yun na wala sa rice, especially po sa puting rice. Kasi essentially, yung white rice na kinakain natin, halos starch na lang po. Tulad yung pong brown rice, kaya yun din po yung pinopromote natin kasi mas marami siyang fiber, antioxidants, B vitamins. So, kaya po yun din yung ini-encourage natin to promote yung better health sa ating mga rice consumers. So, nagsistart po tayo sa rice mix and then eventually pag sanay na sila, pwede na po silang kumain ng corn lang sa umaga or saba lang sa umaga.
Yun, kasi a lot of people, hindi nila naintindihan yung fiber na in-explain ni Bea. Ngayon, binanggit mo naman, Hazel, itong antioxidants. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the things that take out the toxins in your body. Yan yung mga bagay-bagay na ayaw mo sa dugo mo, ayaw mo sa tiyan mo, etc. So it is very popular among European and Western countries and in Japan that they focus on antioxidants. So dito medyo kasi ine-elementary natin sinasabi, pag kumain kang kamote, nako po, babaho yung kwarto. Mahirap yung mais kasi magiging boksingero ka. But you are in PhilRice promoting the mixed grain, mixed meal program, rice and corn, rice and kamote, etc. So we'll go for a quick break. When we return, Doc Hazel will be excusing herself, but we will come back with Bea to discuss a little more on the nutrition value and also the benefits of eating less rice, as Doc Hazel pointed out. We'll be right back here on Agenda. Okay, welcome back. Beatrix Mercado, registered nutritionist-dietitian and founder of Project Fit PH. Bea ba o Beatrix? Okay, well, looks like we also have a hanging connection there. It's there. Bea, welcome back.
Hi.
Okay, I think we're
Hello
having... Yeah. Let's continue with the conversation. Bea, you were talking about high fiber for kamote, for corn, and as an alternative to rice. Kasi yung iba, one time kakain, puro kanin. Pero can you explain yung sinabi ni Doc Hazel kanina na halos wala namang nutritional value ang kanin na parang puro starch lang siya. Hindi ba yung starch yun ang number one pag hindi mo na sunog sa katawan mo o natunaw, magiging sugar na magiging taba. Tama ba yun?
Yes po. Yes po. Eventually, it will also convert to fat kapag hindi na-burn.
Okay. So, what about the nutritional value? Meron ka bang mapapala sa pagkain ng kanin?
Oh, definitely, yes. Meron naman po. And kaso nga lang, sa sobrang daming process na in-undergo ni white rice as opposed to other rice colors, nababawasan siya. So, essentially, white rice also has B vitamins in itself. And then, yeah, may B vitamin siya. It also has a little bit of fiber, but mostly starch. Ayan. So, may mapapala pa rin. However, it's not as beneficial as compared to other colors ng rice, like brown rice, black rice, and red rice.
Yeah, let's talk about that because I was mentioning that yesterday. When people buy rice now, grabe, inaamoy pa, hindi lang kinakapa, tinitingnan, inaamoy pa. I mean, I remember back in the old days, we cooked rice with tanlad, with lemon balm ba yun, or something para with pandan or tanlad to make it smell nice. Hindi yung bibilin mo yung kanin o bigas na mabango.
I'm sorry, nakat po ako. What was the question?
No. Regarding the color of rice, because you're saying that the color of rice, the darker or the more natural it is, the better. Imbis na yung puting-puti.
Yes. Yes po. Yes. Kasi hindi pa siya fully well-milled, hindi pa siya fully processed. Hence, yung ibang vitamins nandun pa. Even some minerals are retained. Also, yung fiber, mas nare-retain siya. Kasi most fibers are found in the hull. So, nandun siya sa karamihan ng balat ng palay. So, kapag less yung processing, mas nasusustain and mas nare-retain rather yung nutritional content nito. So, nakikita siya kadalasan sa brown rice.
Mm-hmm. Is it true what some people say, Sir, pag binawasan natin yung bigas, nanghihina kami? Kasi I used to manage a construction site, building resorts in Palawan. And yun yung, when I always tell them, hoy, bawasan nyo naman yung kanin ninyo. So kanya kayo naglalakihan ng tiyan. But they say, Sir, manghihina kami. What do you say, Bea?
Energy. Ayan, carbs kasi siya eh. So, kadalasan kapag filler din kasi siya eh, sa rice is also a source of energy. Kaso nga lang, ayan, as you mentioned then earlier, naglalakihan kapag sobrang dami. Ayan, so doon talaga papasok yung problema. Pero pag halimbawa naman po, 1 cup is enough sa kanila, that would be much better.
Okay, so any other suggestions, Bea, for people? Because there are people who want to reduce the rice intake, pero naku po, marami magagalit na bata sa akin, Bea. Yung French fries. So, ang dami kong pinapagalitan.
Yes po, okay, so yun pong sa rice intake, it could be reduced kaso nga lang mas best if dadamihan po muna yung ulam. Yun yung trick dun eh. So, you have gulay, you have rice, and you have ulam. And the trick there is paunti-unting bawasan ang rice. Kahit hindi po biglaan, kahit halimbawa 1 kutsara, 2 kutsara kada linggo yung babawasan until masanay ka na half rice yung consumption. Tapos, babawiin po natin sa gulay and babawiin natin sa ulam. So that would be the trick when it comes to reducing less rice. And more than that, adding more nutritional value to our health by simply consuming more vegetables and also more protein.
Okay, what about the French fries things? The young people now, I don't eat rice, I just have French fries.
No.
Ano ba yan? Basta sinabi ko yung word na French fries, naghahang si Bea. Parang merong nagmo-monitor dyan na fast food. Galit pag pinapansin natin yung French fries. Anyway, I think we are going to try to reconnect with Bea, but if not, then we have to bid her adieu to the French fries and to our conversation with our guest Bea. Beatrix Mercado, registered nutritionist, dietitian, and founder of Project Fit PH. Yan. Sabi kasi, maggamit kayo ng PLDT Home Fiber Optic Internet. Anyway, that concludes our conversation with the two ladies. What's the point? The PhilRice is suggesting we reduce rice consumption. And whether you like me or not for saying this, I agree. I agree that Filipinos should reduce rice consumption. Bakit po? As already pointed out by Bea Mercado, who is a nutritionist, it is associated with diabetes and with obesity. Ngayon, magkaka-diabetes ka, pagkatapos lalaki ka bang parang kasinlaki ng bariles. Okay? So, ano ang problema? People who suffer obesity develop hypertension. People with diabetes generally have hypertension. People with diabetes, hypertension, and obesity also eventually develop chronic kidney disease. In other words, you are going to get sicker and sicker and sicker by the day. You may not feel it right now, but ultimately, you will pay for, and let me call it, your sins later in life. The problem is, as you get older, the harder it is for you to recover. So, okay. So anyway, the thing is, we need to preempt. Kumbaga, ginagawa ngayon ng PhilRice, bawasan na po natin ngayon. So, health-wise, it's a good idea. And if you want to put money to it, I've already shared it on the program and on my column, going even to a public hospital. Yung mga hospital po kayo dahil may diabetes kayo, you have heart disease, you're overweight, etc., even in a government hospital, gagastos pa rin kayo. You will still spend money and it is still an expensive process. Do not be mistaken in believing that PhilHealth will give you a no-balance billing arrangement. Hindi po totoo yun. Mostly for indigent Filipinos po yun, not for people who are middle class, etc. May babayaran pa rin kayo sa hospital, especially kung hindi naman kayo sa charity ward or sa maraming tao na nagsishare ng room. Now, as far as the supply chain is concerned, Hazel Antonio-Beltran already pointed out that the wasted rice sa mga restaurant, bahay, etc. is 385,000 metric tons. If you don't believe this, then ask your lolo, lola, your parents, if they're a little older than 60, about canning baboy and canning aso. You know, there was so much wasted food in the old days because there was so much food and fewer Filipinos that we could actually raise dogs, raise pigs, raise chickens without using feed. Kasi sobrang dami lagi ang tirang pagkain, pinapakain na lang sa baboy at sa aso. So, 385,000 metric tons is equivalent to 7.2 billion pesos that can feed 2.5 million Filipinos. Think about it and remember, ultimately, wasting food is a sin against God. Anyway, we'd like to thank our guest, Dr. Hazel Antonio-Beltran and Beatrix Mercado, founder of the Project Fit PH, And let's now go to our blessing for the day. It comes from the book of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 25. Therefore, I tell you, stop being worried or anxious, perpetually uneasy, distracted about your life, as to what you will eat or what you will drink, nor about your body as to what you will wear. God is going to take care of you. God has got you covered. And is life not more than food and the body more than clothing? Ayan po, no? Have a life, okay? Have a life. Puro na lang kayo making a living, wala namang kayong life. Okay, we thank you for joining us today. God bless all of you. It's been a crazy morning because of connections. It's disrupted our flow. But thank you. Pinagtsagaan niyo po kami this morning. Please keep it here on One News.